Uh, it would be appropriate to start the symposium by briefly looking back at Akshara Foundation's journey over the last 2 decades. The organization is founded on the belief that quality education is the undeniable right of every child. It was conceived as a tripartite partnership between the government, the private sector, and the voluntary sector. Our past programs have been Swalpa English Tumba Fun, Classroom Library Program, Prepare Not Repair Preschool Program, and the Oduve Nanu reading programs.
Akshara's flagship program is Ganita Kalika Andolana, a math program designed and incubated at Akshara Foundation and scaled up via state governments. It is an important example of how Akshara has managed to collaborate with multiple stakeholders. GKA, that is Ganita Kalika Andolana, includes a critical component of using teaching learning material, that is TLMs, to break down abstract math concepts and help children understand math in a concrete way. In fact, the Nipun Bharat 2021 guidelines document has cited GKA as one of the best practices in math teaching. Our TLMs for grades 1 to 8 are displayed on the desk outside, so do check them out during breaks.
Akshara's community program started with the belief that quality of schooling will not improve unless the locus of the control moves from the government to the community. Akshara has built a cadre of 50,000 education volunteers who have committed their time to the cause of improving quality education in their villages. In addition to this, we facilitate the Gram Panchayat level math contests, or GP contests as they are commonly known, which is a first of its kind initiative in the country to encourage all concerned stakeholders to push for enhancing the quality of education and learning of mathematics across education system. With great pride, we would like to mention that we have facilitated 1,000 Gram Panchayat contests this year, and 1,93,000 children in government schools have participated in the GP contests.
Thank you. Pratibimba is a podcast by teachers for teachers. It's a platform where teachers and education department officials share and learn. Through the podcast, we aim to bring out positive stories on classroom innovations, community participation, and child-level impact that have emerged from government-run primary schools in Karnataka and Odisha. More details about all our programs are available in the folder provided to you. So do go through them when you have time. With this, I request Ashok to address the gathering and set the context for the symposium.
Mr. Ashok Kamath, an alumni of IIT Bombay and an Ashoka Fellow, has been the managing trustee since 2003 and chairman of Akshara Foundation since July 2008. He was formerly the managing director of the Indian operations of Analog Devices. In April 2019, he was conferred the prestigious Nama Bengalurian Award for exemplary work in education. Ashok is also the co-founder and trustee of Pratham Books and trustee of Shreyas Foundation in Ahmedabad. At Akshara, he has been actively involved in the strategic planning, analysis, and expansion of programs at every stage. So over to you, Ashok.
Thank you, Veena and Shilpashri. Good morning. I hope the Bangalore traffic hasn't treated you badly. We always are skeptical about Bangalore. But let's move on to more interesting things. What we are here to discuss today with respect to math is basically how do you take this across to all children in the country in a sustainable manner. We talk about scale all the time, but if scale is not accompanied by sustainability, then it becomes a pointless exercise. Having said that, we have to understand that delivering quality education is not such a trivial thing, given the size of the country that we have. We have, I think, 1.5 million schools, 250 million children. Anything that you are talking about, you have to multiply by 1 million. So that's the kind of scale that we have. In 2001, the government of India at that point brought about the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. It was set up, I believe, as a trust for 15 years, and with the objective of bringing adequate infrastructure to address the needs of 250 million children going to school. We may be skeptics and cynical, but by all accounts, this has been a big success. Prior to SSA, only 60% of our children would go to school. Today, I think the number is around, if you see ASER report from yesterday, it's in the 95, 96 kind of range. So I think it has done its job. Now we got to figure out how we can take an SSA type of learning and come up with improving the quality of schooling. Can we use the same yardsticks and measurements and approaches to bring to improving the quality of schooling? So we need to think differently, act differently, and I think we need people and organizations who can come together and align behind an idea. Across the country, lots of people doing wonderful work, but if they are not kind of aligned together, then the impact is not as strong as it should be. So when we do things like a math symposium, and Akshara has been a place where we always share our work in the Creative Commons. So whatever we have learned, whatever we've developed is available for free use by anyone, anywhere in the world, without any monetizing by Akshara. So the whole idea is that it's not that you can't do it. Everybody can do it. It's that should you be doing it when it's available already? You can adapt it. And I think I know a few people in this room who have done and modified it for their own geographies and situations. But the core remains the same, and that alignment is what we are looking at. I've always said that we are a great country for pilots. We have lots of pilot studies that go about, but really very few that have scaled and scaled sustainably over the long term. And we all know that the magic mantra for development is scale and sustainability. So the first thing we should know is that it's the government system that gives you scale. More than 65% of our children go to these schools, and scale really comes from there. From those who are outside the government, it might seem that working inside government is painfully slow, but trust me, there is a strong process inside government, and if your solution is accepted by the system, the benefits that will accrue are huge. Think of a state like Karnataka, roughly 45,000 primary schools in the government system, and that's the kind of scale that we are talking about. So we just have to be patient. It takes a little while, but once you cross that hurdle, the impacts are immense. Having said that, at Akshara we believe that scale without sustainability becomes meaningless. So if Akshara or Sikshana or any one of us has to be there forever doing the same thing, it may not be very practical. It has to be built into the DNA of the system. And which means that the solution that you do has to be delivered through the state system, not by large cadres of teachers from the outside. So at Akshara we've created a model. We call this, as Shilpa Shri said, we call it Ganit Kalika Andolan, and it has multiple aspects to it. all of which need to work together to make it really impactful. We've done this work across Karnataka, in a very large way. So I think today every single government primary school uses our Ganita Kalika Andolana methodology, including the kit in grades 4 and 5. And in Odisha, we've started the process for grades 1 through 5. I believe as of now, 24 districts in Odisha use these kits, and another 8 will be, taking it up very soon. So, what is this model all about is what we are trying to articulate here. And if the model does not answer the question, what's in it for me, for every stakeholder, then I don't think we'll be able to deliver anything. So first, the teachers, who are the core, absolutely essential agents of change in the classroom. We use math as an example, but the model can be used to kind of remove the math content and put some other content, and it should work. So I will, we are in the math symposium, so I will restrict my comments to math. So prior to our starting GKA, we found that teachers had textbooks, but no good tools to transact those textbooks in the classroom. And they were handicapped. And that is why I think what happened is there was large-scale resorting to teaching by rote rather than making sure that the children got the concepts right. So we at Akshara created a kit. It's outside, you can see during the break times. And it was a scientifically designed kit that helped and reduced the teacher's burden in the classroom by helping her transact the classroom material better in small groups of children working together. So this was what we call our GKA 1.0, which was a kit for grades 1 through 5. Last year, in 2022, the government of Karnataka reached out to us and asked us to help with creating a similar kit for grades 6, 7, and 8. We call that GKA 2.0. And the beauty of that was the kit was developed by 30-odd teachers from the state who worked with Akshara's resource group. So it was a joint development that actually happened. And that kit is outside, you can see it. And to me, when a key stakeholder owns the solution, the chances of it working well across the system gets multiplied. So the fact that teachers themselves came and helped develop this kit was a big plus point, goes a long way in the sustainability. Every state has a cadre of resource people. In Karnataka we call them CRPs, BEOs, BRCs. I think in Odisha they call them CRCCs and so on. And they are all supposed to be out there helping the school system, sometimes administratively and very often academically. In Karnataka, we've used many of these people to observe math instruction in the classrooms and respond to 4 simple questions. One example I will give you is, if the teacher is not using the math kit, we should know about it. Why should we know about it? Because we should be able to do something about it. If teachers are not using, there must be a reason that we should be able to collate and remedy it. So again, this data comes from the system, and that ownership also ensures long-term sustainability. Community is a big part of the GKA model. We say that it takes a village to raise a child. It's been attributed to some Chinese proverb, but every culture says it's their own proverb. We took this to heart at Akshara, and a huge cadre of education volunteers was created. at this point, I think we have more than 50,000 such people in Karnataka. And we ask them to give us between 3 and 4 hours a month of their time, and they don't get compensated. Mostly these are young people who live around the schools and who are most likely alumni of those schools, and they want to give back to their communities, and they are willing to give us this 3 to 4 hours a month. We started a similar exercise in Odisha. I think at last count we had, in just 2 districts, we had more than 3,500 such volunteers, and that's growing day by day. One of the things that these volunteers do is organize or facilitate a Gram Panchayat math contest. Shilpa Shri or Veena talked about it in their introduction. This is a very well designed property. At Akshara, we like to say it is a contest, not an exam. It's a contest for the children, but it's a test for every other stakeholder in the mix. So every stakeholder gets valuable inputs from this process. This year, in the last 52 days, yesterday we finished our 1001 Gram Panchayat contest in Karnataka and tested nearly 194,000 children. I think over the next 5 or 6 weeks, we will probably do a similar amount, and we hope to end the year with over 2,000 such contests in Karnataka. And Odisha will begin now in January, February, and March. So that's interestingly, in these 1001 contests, there were 9,000 children who got prizes, and 60 lakh rupees went as prize money into the children's pockets. So, we now see a lot of enthusiasm in participating, and all this money has come from the community. It's not come from Akshara. So, again, a very strong sense of sustainability emerges from this. Having said that, I think the support of the establishment is very, very important here. The education department officials and the Panchayati Raj department officials have all worked together to make all these 1,001. It's not Akshara's people. Akshara has only 20 people on the ground there. They could not physically do 1,000 even if they wanted to. But it's all these institutions that have come together, and it's an example of how good collaborations can actually deliver some magic. So true scale and sustainability happens only when the community starts demanding quality education and starts participating in its delivery. So it's not that you just demand and sit quietly, you also have to be a participant. Then the supply side wakes up and starts to address the demand. Just want to caution you, these changes don't happen over 2 or 3 years. They take much, much longer. So we need to have a lot more patience. Because we have to infuse the system with the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. We have to do this continuously, and it takes its own time. So, 10, 15 years is what you want to actually achieve complete transformation. And it's important that we not just look at learning outcomes, but also look at the quality of the enabling environment. If teachers are not trained, if toolkits are not there, if monitoring is not there, how do you expect learning outcomes to improve? So you have to measure the whole system. That's what this Math Symposium is all about, is addressing pieces of the puzzle today in 3 panels. The first panel is on pedagogy and learning tools. And we have some highly talented people on that panel. The NEP has talked about introducing toy-based and story-based pedagogies into the teaching process. Hopefully this will be a start to thinking and creating some of those can emerge from this meeting today. The second panel is a consequence of what we learned during the pandemic, the recent pandemic, when the importance of having digital technologies as a supplement to classroom instruction became visible. You know, it was important to do that. And it kind of told us that every child should have some amount of digital access. It should not be a function of how much money they have. Every child should have some amount of digital access. And I think that's an important thing that we need to talk about in the second panel. The third one is on assessments, and assessments are always an area where we are shy to take bold new approaches. Starting from schools all the way to the IIT joint entrance exam, this MCQ business has killed learning. We really don't know how much we have learned. We just know how to look at the last 10 years papers and, you know, crack the exams. But we should start to look at how children learn, where the pitfalls are for them, what can we learn from that, and how can we input that into the teacher training process. Because if that learning is lost and not built into the teacher training process, then again we lose some valuable information. So we'll probably talk about that in the afternoon. And finally, at the end of the day, Tara Kinney, a very well-known educator, will enthuse us with mixing math and music, I believe. So she will be here in the afternoon. So this is the context for our symposium. At Akshara, we hope you will enjoy and take away some interesting learning. First of all, I want to thank all of our panelists for taking time to come here and spend their time. To each one of you, our sincere gratitude. I want to again emphasize what Shilpa Shri and Veena have said, thanking our sponsors, MG Motors and Vibha Foundation, and also that anonymous donor to us. Thank you so much for enabling us to put this show together. Finally, the team at Akshara has worked very hard in putting this together. And it is our collective hope at Akshara that all of you will benefit from the symposium. As I said earlier, our policy at Akshara has always been put out our learning in the Creative Commons. There are kits outside, you can look at it. I think the team is trying to get vendors to make them available, possibly through Amazon and Flipkart and stuff like that. But the states are also tendering for it, and they are buying it in bulk. There are videos for teacher training in 9 languages available for free downloads. So please feel free to use it as best as you can. Collectively, if we avoid reinventing wheels, we will definitely have a good chance of ensuring that all our children learn well in the near future. Thank you, each and every one of you, for making it here today, and I hope you have an interesting day. Thank you.